advertising and marketing ecosystem will experience drastic changes over the next 2 to 3 years. We're already experiencing it now. And I want to get all the panelists' opinions on how they expect their marketing strategies and data-driven measurement and planning initiatives to change, given the changes in the advertising and marketing ecosystem. And John, I want to jump to you first. Over the year or so, we anticipate that Google will deprecate its third-party cookies and walled gardens will grow higher. We already see it with different publishers and retail media groups building their own ecosystems. And this is going to be making for more challenging to measure cross-platform, omni-channel advertising strategies. How do you think this will shake out in the next year, and how are you preparing your PayPal team to address these challenges?
Yeah, I think, it's what we talked about before. I think the good news here is, or maybe it's bad news, I suppose, but what we learned through the changes from Apple and in terms of, what's happening with third-party data and cookies informed our current decisions and how we're approaching and putting more emphasis on things like the media mix modeling in terms of how we think about measurement. I think we'll just continue to focus on that. And then as you think about more local optimization at a campaign level, it comes back to just continuing to lean in on own channel, first-party data, experimentation, and test and learn to help inform where you can and get those incrementality rates. So I actually think it's just a continuation of the strategy that we've already put in place. And, in some ways we've sort of built a bit of a firewall around the changes Google is making, just in essence because of what's already happened with Apple. So.
Yeah. Now, Sean, in your industry ecosystem, how do you anticipate the rise of the retail media networks impacting marketing and media analytics at Albertsons? And what are you doing to prepare for this shift of media within the media selling and buying ecosystem?
Yeah, it's a great question. I know we don't have a lot of time, but retail media networks is a big focus for us. We actually launched our own retail media network this past February called Albertsons Media Collective. And that was the result of a few years of hard work bringing our marketing technologies up to where they needed to be able to deliver a great product to our CPG partners. I was a former CPG marketer, and I believe that if retail media networks had been invented when I was working for Procter & Gamble, I would never have invested a single dollar that I couldn't tie to a proven transaction. I really do think it's the future of where media is going. There's still a lot of work for the industry to grow up, but ultimately marketing is about selling something, and the companies that do have that ultimate transaction data, if they can build a proposition for their vendors and suppliers to advertise and close the loop on performance, it's a game changer. And ultimately, it's going to make you a better marketer for your enterprise marketing as well. All of our enterprise marketing runs on the same rails and technology as our retail media network, and we measure and optimize the same way, making sure that everything we do, we look at the transactions that result from it and optimize for maximum ROI.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting, the retail media networks, because to me, it's not only about the opportunity to connect directly, like with a retailer and an advertiser, to measure and target, but there's implications of like using that data to understand like market basket analysis and consumer behaviors. So CPG companies, I know, are just foaming at the mouth for that information, and now they have it at their fingertips, which is really exciting. It's a massive shift, I think, in that particular industry. Now, Mike, I know within your industry you leverage a lot of patient and doctor data to help measure and manage marketing and media initiatives. With the spotlight on how marketing and advertising and the advertising industries use data, how do you expect data usage for marketing measurement, insights, and planning purposes to shift over the next 2 years? And how do you anticipate your data investments to change to support that data-driven marketing planning?
Yeah, I think broader privacy concerns over consumer data will certainly spill over and impact how we use these tools to resolve the impact of our marketing investments. Pharma, having dealt with or dealing, not dealt with, but working within the environment of HIPAA compliance, means that we may actually be ahead in some respect, right? In that our data already needs to be sanitized, tokenized to meet HIPAA compliance standards, which are fairly strict protections in patient privacy. So we have experience, working within constraints and still getting to the degree of insights that we feel we need in order to make informed business decisions. But that said, there will obviously be an ever more focus on technology and data solutions that help to mitigate that loss of data granularity that we expect to see without necessarily losing the quality of the insight and actionability of those insights. At Gilead, talking about the next 2 or 3 years in terms of our data investments, we're putting a lot more focus in our ability to connect our marketing efforts across channels seamlessly, right, via omni-channel. And this goes back to the first question on how our data strategy, or our digital strategy is starting to mature. And so one of the challenges there is really trying to marry the data from these different channels and sources so that we can model next best engagement and execute a more personalized, dynamic, relevant, targeted campaign. And we're certainly not there yet, but that's what we're building towards, and that's where our focus is going to be.